Alright, sorry about that, everybody. I was having some weird technical issues where I was experiencing a lot of frame drops and everything. It was probably going on for the last stream, in which case, I am sorry. But hopefully, it will have resolved now, and if not, I will figure out how to resolve it in the coming days. But anyway, all that aside, welcome back to the stream. Welcome one and all to Vintage Story, which is going to pop up on the screen soon. Glad to have you with me as always. We are going to get this kicked off real quick. I just wanted to say thank you for the reception yesterday, and thank you for bearing with me through the technical issues now. So let's go ahead and hop into the game. I'm not even in the game yet. We're just at the we're just at this. We're at the main menu. So, for anyone that wasn't paying attention yesterday, or wasn't here yesterday, or just doesn't know what Vintage Story is a game that was made. Sorry, yeah, it's a game that was made. It's a game that was made by. Oh, I just realized I got 1.8 preview instead of 1.18. It's fine. I'll fix that real quick. It is a game that was made by a bunch of Minecraft mod developers, if you believe it. A bunch of Minecraft mod developers way back in the day, they got together and were like, hey, this is the kind of game that we want Minecraft to be. But it's not going to be that way because we're not making Minecraft. So let's get together and make our own game. And so that's what they did. And Vintage Story is the result of that. And it is a very fun and interesting game. It plays a lot like Terra Firma Craft for any of you old school modded Minecraft players like me, where it's got very, very in-depth and kind of grindy, but also very realistic ways of doing things, like foraging and growing food, animal husbandry, even so far as smelting iron or chopping down trees. And it's very interesting. It's very fun. I am having a blast of a time playing it. Shout out to Doodlebug, one of the people on Junicraft server. Her and Runely got me turned to this game, and I've loved it ever since. And they are great people for showing me this game. But we are going to play, as you can see, the 1.18 unstable release because it's a preview release. And they've got some new things going on I'm not sure about. If you had a chance to notice the tags, backseat gaming's enabled because I don't know what's different here. If anyone comes in and they know what's what about the 1.18 version of Vintage Story, God forbid, they can tell me. So we're going to create a new world here. And you can see there's a bunch of different play styles, creative building. Homo sapiens removes all lore content and evidence of current or past civilizations. You're the first and only human on the planet. Stronger focus on realistic survival. It's interesting. I don't know what that one's about particularly, but I think it's just... I think what it is that 1.18 adds a lot of... It adds some like lore stuff in the way of quests and whatnot, and so we want that stuff, so we're not going to play that one. We're gonna do exploration, but we're gonna customize it because there are a few things that go into Vintage Story that can be a bit challenging, like food spoilage or the different seasons, because it does have a season rotation where it'll go through spring, summer, fall, winter, and you will have certain times of the year where you can harvest certain things, and certain times where it'll give you reduced crop yield and that sort of thing. So we're going to make things a little bit easier on ourselves because I suck at this game. As much as I love it, I suck at it. So one of the things we're going to look for here, the hunger rate, we're going to keep it slower, 50%. Walk speed, we're going to make normal. Food spoilage, we're going to make 25%. Alright, so... Arc block chiseling, we can leave that at that. I want seasons. Always spring. So that means that you'll basically get the max yield from most crops that you harvest and plant. And it makes things a little bit easier. You got infinite lives because we're not going hardcore mode here. Lung capacity, just crank it. I don't want to have to come back up for air. Days per month, it doesn't really matter because the months aren't really going by. All the rest of this, I believe, is fine. This stuff doesn't really matter because we're not playing multiplayer. We're just playing a single-player world. This game does have multiplayer, and from what I understand, very robust multiplayer, but I have not checked it out as of yet. So sue me. We're going to randomize this a few times. Let's just go peaceful village world. So we're going to create the world. And one thing that makes it a little different from Minecraft is that every world you have, you make your character look a bit different. You have the chance to customize your character in each world. It also has a thing kind of like the Origin system where you can choose a class, and that class gives you different buffs and debuffs, as well as different starting equipment that doesn't really matter in the long run because all just variations of you have clothing. And some of them give you different crafting recipes. Like for instance, if you pick a blackguard, you can make the blackguard short sword once you reach the Iron Age. And that sort of thing. It sort of gives this whole thing here for loading the world. It begins, it senses, it remembers all that came before, taste and smell, grand inventions, glimmers in the soil, burning sparks, molded forms, simple tools, a world unbroken, the center unfolding, the carved mountains, the rolling hills, the sheer cliffs, the endless plains, the winter snows and scorching deserts, spring waters, tunnels deep below. It calls to you, return again. So it gives like it already gives a sort of vibe just as it's loading the world, which is really cool. And you can even kind of see from the background that it is a bit of a Minecraft aesthetic with like the voxel generation. But yeah, you'll find little things that sort of allude to the way certain Minecraft mods play, like Chisels and Bits, or Terraformacraft, or just like a bunch of different things. It is crazy, but it really does allude to the fact that Vintage Story was and is sort of the Minecraft that these mod developers wanted Minecraft to be. And so it's really interesting to see it, and it really gives way to a fun game. And I love it. Love it so much. It does take a quick second to really load the world. I actually don't know how long it takes right now for 1.18. I actually haven't played anything of the 1.18 pre-release as of yet. Because I was actually saving it for the stream. And I'm not gonna go check out my old worlds or anything like that, because it's been advised that you don't go into those worlds in the previews, like at all, and I don't have them backed up right now, so I'm just gonna leave them as it is, and I'm gonna make a new world. And this is another thing that's kind of grindy at the beginning, because you're just trying to find a spot to settle down, you're trying to find a good source of food, all that sort of stuff. But then we can really look into like how to properly build a house and all the different mechanics that are different for Vintage Story, like just getting tools. I don't know if my mods are active, because I've got a few Vintage Story mods that I use that make things a little bit simpler, because, you know, me brain smooth. But I don't know if they're going to work right now because of 1.18. They were working between the 1.17 releases, which thankfully Vintage Story has very robust mod support. Like, the people that make mods for these, it is native. They don't need anything like Forge or not Optifine, but Fabric or any of that sort of stuff. Quilt, none of it. So people can actually create mods for this very, very easily. Another thing you'd really expect of developers who started making mods. And I don't actually know, like, it's taking a good while. So I don't know if 1.18 world generation is just a lot longer or what. I'm uncertain. I feel like I should have just started this before the stream, but that's kind of a moot point now. Oh. It pauses, one last gaze, then all goes quiet. The waters recede, it sighs. Huh? Is that the game telling me that it's having problems? I feel like it is. I feel like that's the game telling me it's like we're having problems loading your world. Sorry, bro. Bear with us. The game ain't dead. In the meantime, how's everyone doing out there in chat? Hope you're all having a good day. I'm having a pretty good day. Got out and about for a little bit. Had some good food. We are going to take an intermission later on like we did yesterday because it's kind of the it's kind of the only kind of time of day that I can really do the stream given schedule and everything, but it also does get in the way of dinner, so I try to take dinner in the middle of the stream and remember that I don't have to do everything in one go, but at the same time I don't want to make it 2 streams, so yeah, and that's the purpose of the intermission. Nevertheless, I hope everyone out there in chat is doing very good today. I hope you're all enjoying yourselves. I hope you've got something fun going, like a game or something. Just listening to me in the background get slowly more and more concerned over whether my game is gonna load. It's not ideal, but you know. We don't do ideal around here. We've never done ideal.
That was easy.
I just hit one of my keybinds. Kind of ironic at this point. Alright, come on now. Are you actually gonna load? I'm just gonna cancel and I'm gonna try it again. Am I gonna try it again? Are you okay, Vintage Story? Oh, Vintage Story isn't okay. Yeah, Vintage Story isn't okay. Okay. What we're gonna do real quick, we're gonna go ahead and reload the game. Vintage Story's crashed. What it probably is the mods. So I'm gonna go ahead and just take all my mods and put them somewhere else for the moment. So give me just a quick second to do that. 1.17 mods. Okay. And let's go ahead and relaunch the game. Oh, it doesn't want to... There you go. You got it. You got the spirit. Okay, let's try that again. It says time played 7 minutes 37 seconds. Well, I'm glad it thinks that I've been having fun. Oh, just a little thing now. It begins. It senses a world unbroken, the center unfolding. It calls to you. Return again. I guess it, like, extends the longer it takes to load the world or something. But hopefully it should actually load this time. Because I was worried about my mods breaking something. And I guess they were. Because I had some pop-up window being like, yeah, your mods are not working right. Like, well, no shit. I mean, most of them were made for 1.17.3. So it kind of doesn't... It kind of isn't a surprise at this point. But nevertheless. Oh, good. This playlist is nice and long. I'm using a new playlist for the BGM that is specifically Twitch safe. So that should be much better considering the last one wasn't. And I know like 1 or 2 times before it's hit me on DMCA stuff. And like I haven't gotten strikes or anything, but it's just like it mutes the thing and looks at me like, hey, you stop it. But this one shouldn't. So that is good to know. Is this breaking? Shouldn't be breaking. Huh. You know, I'm really thinking in retrospect I should have made sure that I could load a world first before I started the stream. But the hindsight's 2020. Damn. I don't actually know if it's gonna do. Usually it doesn't take this long, but I sort of was attributing that to, oh, it's a preview and it's making a new world and it doesn't really have to do a new world that often. I'm uncertain what to do about this. I guess we'll give it another couple minutes. And if it really doesn't want to do, then we can just revert to 1.17 and I can start a new world. If it really wants to be an ass, then we'll just do that and I'll use the mods and everything will be fine. We'll give it a couple of minutes before we really call it. And that fix that I did a moment ago for the drop frames really does seem to have worked, because I'm showing 0 dropped frames as of yet. So I'm glad things should be quite a bit more level. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna do. Oh, maybe, okay, maybe if we, no. Maybe if we, huh? Oh, I just broke it. Okay. Okay. I am going to check something really quick, and we are going to be right back. Because I'm going to see about whether I can get 118 world to work, just like a different world. And if I can't, I'm going to really quickly revert to 1.17.11, and we're going to do one of those worlds. We're going to be right back. Okay, so it turns out that I removed a couple things in the mods that I shouldn't have. I put them back and everything is fine now. So here we have the character creation menu. Finally, we've got it working. So, as you can see, everyone looks a little bit strange. So we're gonna randomize a couple times. As you do. Until we get something sufficiently weird. You know, I'm about that. Something about that just speaks to me. So we're just gonna go with this guy. I'm dressed just like normal ass clothes. There we go. We're gonna confirm the skin. And here we have our classes. So the commoner, just your random everyday dude. There's no benefits, but there's no drawbacks. We got the hunter, who has higher ranged everything really. More loot, and you can loot from animals faster walk speed, and can craft a special bow and arrows. However, he also has less melee damage, as well as less in terms of mining. So that's a bit of a problem. And we got the malefactor, who's one of my favorites to do, where you get more from foraging, you get more from wild crops and stuff, you get a higher drop rate, animals detect you a lot less, and you can make a sling, but you get less health, less range distance, and less melee. We got the clockmaker, who is better against mechanical creatures and can repair translocators a bit quicker, walks faster, and can make a device to tame the locusts underground. So that's a whole different thing. It gets less health, less range, less melee. I got the blackguard, who's another good one. More melee, more armor durability, and less walk speed penalty in armor, because you do walk slower in armor. Higher mining speed, more health, and you get the short sword and shield, but you get hungry faster, less range damage, and less loot from vessels and foraging and crops. Then got the tailor, sewing kit and clothes, higher armor durability, less stuff from foraging, less health, less mining speed, less animal stuff. So we're just gonna go commoner. Honestly, bog standard, simple as can be. And we're gonna look around a bit at the 1.18 stuff, because I've heard a lot of weirdness about 1.18 world generation. And one of the first things we're gonna want to do as we're going through, well, we're gonna want cattails. Because cattails can be made into early game inventory stuff. So at the start of the game, the inventory slots you see at the bottom, those are it. I get 10 inventory slots, and that's it. And you don't have to have a crafting table or anything. It's all craftable in your inventory. But you can expand your inventory with these 4 slots down here. You can put like bags and backpacks and all that sort of stuff in. And one of the things you can make in the early game is a really quick bag out of cattails, where you put 2. Oh, I thought it was 2 and 2x2. So one thing you can do, if you don't know, you hit H over something, and it brings up a handbook where you can look at its ingredient for all these things, and we're looking for the hand basket. Okay, so we need 10 of them in a U shape. Oh, not mean to crouch like that. So we're gonna grab some more. And you can tell, like, this is just a very pretty game. I'm gonna pick up stone here, because stones are useful. Andesite through this area, and there are different types of stone all throughout the world. There's like andesite, slate, granite, all sorts of things, and they can actually tell what kind of ores are going to spawn through that area. So one of the things we're going to do, quickly make a hand basket, and you can see we get 3 slots. And we don't want to go around just punching animals, because like these bighorn ewes, they will fight back. And we got nothing right now. If we go in trying to go ham with our fists, we're going to lose. So we're going to take a cranberry and we're going to take the bush. That way we can replant the bush, get more berries. Because berries are a very good source of early game food. And we got a fish. Like, we can't even punch a fish to death, guys. And I'm just remembering it wouldn't even do us any good because we don't have any flint yet. That's one of the things we need to find is flint. You can always tell flint because it looks like a stone on the ground, except it's got a little, like, dark gray bit alongside it. So when we come across one, I will point it out. And it's a lot of just scanning the ground. Yes, there's a lot of tall grass. Okay, so there's flint. You can see that it's like a weirder gray next to it. So we're going to pick that up. And we actually got a few flint. I don't know if we already picked some up. So what we can do is we can shift and right click to place it, and then we can make things. So first thing we're going to want some knife blades. And you'll notice it gives like this sort of grid. And it's like, okay, well, we can't do that. If you look above it, it's got a picture of stone and left click. When we hit it with a stone, we do flint napping. And instead of doing like this, what I like to do is just hit C and it brings up this little thing, but it also just lets you click them normally instead of moving around the camera and trying to do it that way. And there we have 2 flint knife blades. But we can't use them as they are yet because we need sticks to bind them as handles. We're going to keep going and we're going to keep picking up the flint we find. And ooh, this is peat. What we can do with this, so we can hit M for the map, zoom in, and of course there is a map. And you can also add waypoints. So we're just going to make a simple point for peat for us to find it later. And you kind of want to do this for any like interesting resource in your world. So you can just put waypoints down wherever you like, and you can come back whenever you have the need of it, because peat can be used as a very cheap fuel source. Use flint. We got conglomerate stone through the area, which is probably just below the andesite, or ooh, limestone. This is very good to find, because there will be certain times of the game where we will need limestone. Specifically when we're making things like leather. We will need limestone. Very much so. And one thing that sucks about going away from spawn in this game. Hey there, Mustard. I am doing well. How about you? I hope you're enjoying the stream thus far. Sorry, I haven't really been looking at the chat too much. I really should. And we're going to just collect these empty ones too, because why not? It'll be nice to have them nearby whenever we decide to settle down. Also, like, full disclosure, I'm no pro vintage story player or anything. So you're not going to get a whole lot of, like, expert pro tip from me. Like, nah. This is medium fertility soil. It's good, but we also... There's other things we can get as well. Might as well take the red currant bush. Why not? So one of the things with the soil, I'll just touch on this really quick, it's that they have different levels of fertility, as you could probably guess. And the higher fertility your soil, the better crop yield you're going to get from it. So you definitely want to seek out the highest fertility soil that you can which would be, I believe just out in the world, it is high fertility soil? Because I believe you have to craft terra preta, which is like super high fertility soil. Okay, I'm gonna check them. Ooh, wait. Clay. Good. That is good to have around. So we're gonna make another mark for blue clay. Just gonna make it blue. Boop, boop. And we're gonna zoom out a little bit. And okay, we've got some forestry, I think. I don't know if it's forestry or... Whoa. I didn't realize that's what it looked like. Yeah, 1.18 is a little fucked in terms of the world generation. Wow. It just stretched it. Okay. Well, we've got a ruin up here. We got... What is this over here? I don't even know. I'm not too keen on finding out right now. I want to find out if this is... Like, if this is just... forestry. Or what it is. Because I want to find a forest. Because that's where we're going to be able to get a whole bunch of sticks and whatnot. Ooh, fire clay. Fire clay is very useful as well. So we're going to zoom in. I don't think this is forestry stuff. I think this is just, like, very ample terrain. We're going to fire clay just to go that. Oh, no, there's some tree. Partial tree. Man, that's way up there. Moss layer, okay. Yeah, I don't think I can really do anything with that because I gotta break the leaves to get sticks. So we just wander in for the moment. But at least we got plenty of food. So even though it's not the best food, we can just eat grain. Like, it's way better to be able to make it into bread, but we can just eat it if we need to. As well as just all these berries we got. More clay here. And normally I would like go around and mark every piece of clay and everything puffball. Can I harvest it without a knife? Yes, I can. Cool. Yeah, so, okay, we've got a couple trees, not many. Okay, we got a stick. We got 2 stick. We're just gonna boom, boom. Now we have knives. And we are also completely out of inventory, so we should pick up some more, some more of the cattails. And one of the things you'll see is that underneath where it says cattails, harvest with a knife to keep roots intact. So you can harvest both the cattail and the cattail root. And the cattail root can actually be cooked and eaten. But we do not need to eat it right now, so we're not gonna. So, what to throw out? I'll just throw out the rocks. We can get rocks anywhere. We're just gonna collect some more cattail. And just get ourselves enough for a couple more baskets. If we can. Because we've got 4 slots. We can get 4 baskets. There's nothing saying that we can't just get 4 baskets in the start of it. And of course, down the line, we're going to want to make better stuff. Like linen sacks or just leather backpacks. but that is much farther down the line. Like linen sacks require us to have flax, leather backpacks, of course, require us to have leather, and that is a multi-day process to make leather. I know, in Minecraft, you just punch a cow and boom, leather. But here, you punch an animal, A, it'll attack you back, and B, if you manage to kill it, it's going to drop a pelt. And that pelt, you have to treat with lime water, and then you treat it with weak tannin, or rather you scrape it off, then you treat it with weak tannin, then you treat it with strong tannin. And each of those has a set amount of time that has to be treated for, and I'm not going to make it up this way. It's a little, oh, it's a little floating island. Oh, right, I don't have a zoom button. Okay. There's a little floating island up there. I think, oh man, it is hard to get around this area. Is there like a less weird area to be? This area seems much less weird. We're gonna head northward because all this crazy terrain, while cool, is a pain in the ass to travel. Here, let's. You are a pain, sir. You are a pain. Let us. Just dig this up. I'll use it to just noob pillar up. And I think it's also in the options that sand and dirt have gravity. So we can't just like noob pillar across everywhere. One of the things we're also going to do is we're going to get more sticks. Because we'll need more sticks. Because we can't do everything we want to do with just a knife. For instance, one of the things we're going to want to get once we get a stone again, it's flint, is we are going to want to make an axe. So we can get some logs going. And look, there's even some sticks on the ground. Look, we found our way to a wooded area. And get some black currants, because why not? And we got even more food around here. And I think, frankly, this isn't a bad little area to set up shop. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna set up shop right in this little area. I feel like this is just a nice place to be. And we can always just like expand a base later or what have you. But for right now, I'm going to place down all these bushes I've been collecting so they're not clogging up my inventory. And we're going to find a stone. There's got to be one around here. Yep, conglomerate stone. It'll do just fine. In the knapping process, any stone is really as good as any other. So we're going to do, and we are going to make a flint axe head. I'm going to do the C trick again. And just knap out one axe head. And you notice I don't have to click every single one of those blocks. I just have to disconnect the unimportant bits from the ones I want. And then boom, we got an axe. And now we can chop down trees. So I guess we should start with one of these. Let's start with this one. And this tree, oddly enough, has no logs. So let's start with another one. Let's see here. Oh, there's more stones. Trying to decide where the aesthetics can be harmed. Aesthetics can be harmed here. So we're gonna... Okay, so we've got a pine cone as well. That's one thing we can get from breaking the leaves, just like in Minecraft. We can get saplings, and they don't just like pine sapling or anything like that. You get pine cones. Or I guess it says pine seed, but we know what they mean. and we can just plonk it down. Just shift right click and grab the wood. Did it really give me 1 wood? That's one thing about the vintage story trees. They're not guaranteed to give you any wood. They're not guaranteed to give you a lot of wood. And what's more, you can't make this into planks. Not yet. You need a saw to make it into planks. Right now, we can make it into firewood. And that's still important because we will take 4 firewood. Let's clear out an area here. Yes, I know I could break these with the knife, but I'm just clearing a little space here. We're just gonna shift click, right click. No. Ah, that's right. I need to place something else down first. So let's go ahead and break one of these grass with a knife, and we'll get dry grass. And then we can shift right click, instant in construction fire pit. So if we place 4 firewood with it, boom, we have a fire pit. And we need 2 sticks and actually another dry grass to make a fire starter. But we're not going to start this just yet, because we need fuel for the fire. Let's take this birch tree. I don't know why there's so much birch hate in the past couple of streams, but there's birch hate. We're going to burn the bitch. And okay. So we got the firewood. Pop the firewood into the fire as you'd expect. Then we can just shift and hold right click. Start fire. It takes a couple of tries. Boom, fire. We can take a stick and pop it in there. And that will make the stick into a torch. And that will be very useful when the sun goes down, as it's already starting to. You can see the shadows creep up the blocks. I think this needs, yeah, it needs to get to 700, which is exactly what firewood can get to. In the meantime, just looking around, seeing what I can see for all of this. One of the things that I need to do is I need to find copper. Copper deposits can be on top of the ground, and they will look like stones, except they'll have little flecks of like brown and green in them. Which will tell you that basically these are rocks that are laced with copper. And there is also copper below. See, like this, these are quartz bits. Tells you that there's quartz below, but quartz doesn't really help us right now. You can't make tools out of quartz. It doesn't look like there's any immediate copper around me. I meant to turn up the availability of copper in the settings before making the world, but it slipped my mind. So for the moment, we don't have any copper, and we're gonna have to find some. Oh, I'm an idiot. It's not a stick I need to throw in there. I need to make an unlit torch, which is just a stick and a dry grass. Thought it was a stick and dry grass. Let's try the H button. Oh, 2 dry grass. Okay. See, one of the things that they do differently is that just having one in each slot doesn't always get you there. Sometimes you need more than one. So we're gonna toss this in the fire. And you can see already, it's bringing it up to temperature. Let me take a drink real quick. And just like that, we have a torch. We can hold it in our offhand. We can just sort of let this go out. Because if we keep the firewood in there, it's going to keep on burning. And it's going to burn up all our firewood. Is that a bear? That looks like a bear. We're going to not fuck with the bear. The bear's not a bro. So we're going to leave him be. We're going to go explore this way for a bit. And actually, before we do, we're going to stand right here. And we are going to mark this as home. Where the hell am I on my own map? There we are. I'm going to just boom, home. And we're going to make it just something bright and eye-catching. Hate yellow, but yellow is going to catch our eye. So we're going to look. Now, one thing you have to be careful about with the torch is water. 1 block high water, it's fine. But any deeper than that, and you will put out your torch if it is in your hand or your inventory. For anything deeper than that, you have to consult a lantern. And a lantern needs to be constructed with metal, which obviously can't do right now. Well, we trying to find us some metal. We're gonna douse us some metal. And we're gonna take some of these cattails as well, because we only have 2 bags right now. We need 4. And honestly, early game, the best way to get food is just foraging. Like, start cultivating early, of course, but don't expect it to pay any dividends right away. Because everything takes time to grow. It's like, if you corral up a bunch of animals, it's going to take time for them to want to mate. It's going to take time for them to be pregnant before they birth the child. And it's going to take time for that child to grow up. So all that put together just kind of, it kind of gives her a bad time when you're new to it. We're just gonna go along and collect what we can, look around, see what we can find in terms of copper. And the interesting thing about the torch, while it will go out if you place it on a wall, if you're holding it in your hand or in your inventory, it never goes out. I mean, so long as you stay out of the deep water. But you're already doing that, right? Okay, so we got a scallop here. That's useful if we want a little bit of quick lime. And I don't mean like quick lime. I mean, we want some lime quick. So you can make quick lime with that quick lime. It's confusing. Don't try to wrap your head around it. Seeing a whole bunch of nothing so far. Because I believe copper spawns in pretty much every type of stone. But it doesn't spawn everywhere. It just means it can be in any biome. And here we have some more peat, so we're going to mark this as well. So I think we used this one last time, so I'd like to color code them a little bit, just to sort of know what I'm seeing at a glance. Nope, no copper yet. And this is a lot of like the early game of Vintage Story is finding copper. It's a lot of finding copper, and that's a lot of finding tin, and that's a lot of finding iron. Branchy leaves. Ugh. Hate them. There's just nothing in the way of copper out here. Jeez. No. I mean, I'm going to take the flint just because right now flint is our main source of tooling. But hoping to find some copper around here somewhere. Especially considering nighttime. I don't want to be wandering around out here. I know I could make a bed at this point, but just want to find a little bit of copper. I feel like there should be some relatively close. But the problem is you kind of have to have a keen eye to find it, because it's a blink and you'll miss it kind of thing. Because even if you find copper, you might not find a really good deposit. It might be like 1 or 2 pieces on the surface. Oh, turnips. I don't have space, but I can make space. And we've got turnips to cultivate. One of the things we'll have to make is a hoe. Nope. Still just a bunch of stones. And fireflies. I know, it's just full of riveting gameplay. I promise it's not always going to be... Oh, that was weird. Little frame drop. I promise it's not always going to be this intense and blood pumping. It's just the fact that I'm starting a lot of series back to back, in a manner of speaking. And all of them kind of have grindy bits. Jeez, where is all this copper? And that's the thing, in this game, you kind of have to love the grind. Because if you don't, you're just in for a bad time. Because there's always going to be something to grind out. It's like, there's nothing for it, then you just go out in the world and try to find it. Ooh. Blue clay. Blue clay is good to have.
What this is saying is...
Ow, my head feels really tight for some reason.
As you don't know how you manage to be conscious, how you manage to grow and shape this body of yours, that doesn't mean to say that you're not doing it. Equally, you don't know how the universe shines the stars, constellates the constellation, and galactifies the galaxies. You don't know. But that doesn't mean to say that you...
I am just getting a whole bunch of nothing.
Just the same way as you're breathing without knowing how you breathe.
Okay. Well, oh. And we're in the darkness. See, that's what I tell you about the... about the torch. It leaves you just up the creek without a paddle. And I can see as much as you can right now. It is pure blackness. Man. Did I, like, fall in a hole or something? I don't think so. Wait, I saw a flash of something. I am underground, aren't I? Yes, I am. I am very much underground. I fell in a hole. This isn't possible. Hmm. Use a fire starter. Just like... No? Okay. Damn. This is why you don't want to go outside and exploring without a light, kids. Light's important. I must fall into like a deep hole. Okay. How to get out of this? I don't have... I don't have a lot of things I can use. Get out of this. Damn. Can vaguely see the torch in my offhand. I'm like really straining to see anything. Oh god, this is horrible. This is a nightmare. Did I just fall? That goes down. I can't explain how I'm seeing anything. I'm like really straining my eyes just trying to catch a glimpse of anything. Okay, grassy soil. So it must... Aha! I have reached the sky. I think I made it out. I made it out. It's so damn hard to see. But I think I made it out. I am... Whew. Whew. It is so hard to see. I can't believe I can see anything, but I'm really straining my eyes right now. This is impossible. No, wait. Home's back up here. I'm mainly guiding myself by the mini-map. But it's gotten a tiny bit lighter out here. And I've fallen again. Well, thank God, because that got a lot deeper there. So, thank God I didn't fall farther. Okay. Okay, we made it back to the campfire. So we're gonna put that in there, that in there. Light this bitch. Come on. Oh, sweet life-giving light. Yes. We shall worship the light, lads. We shall worship the light as our God. For it is the only thing that will lead us back to the promised land. We will erect large monuments and museums and... I don't know why I said museums. We will erect a church in the name of our God, the light. His bright and shining face will cast down upon all. We're basically going to be Solaire, is what I'm saying. We're going to praise the sun like no one ever praised before. Sorry, Solaire, but we're going to outdo you. Okay. We gonna learn our lesson and we gonna make a bed. So I believe we need dry grass to do it. We need hay to do it. Hay to make a hay bed. Okay, so we just need a bunch of dry grass for it. So if it's 8 per hay and we need 3 hay, so that's 24 hay. One, 22, 23, 24. Hay bag. Cool. So the interesting thing about this versus Minecraft, this will not reset our spawn point. We will not spawn in our bed. This is strictly for getting through the night. If we want to get through the night, we sleep. If we don't, we don't. There's no, well, there is a resetting of your spawn point, but it's not the bed. It is an item they call the temporal gear, which can be dropped by drifters, the main mob of this game. The main hostile enemy. There's like a whole thing of a dimension of rust. Oh, boys, we found some native copper. Which means there's more native copper below it, but we need a pickaxe to get at that copper. So we're going to label this as copper. We're going to give it sort of orangey. We can sort of give it like a green, because copper gets green with oxidation. And is it only the one? God damn it. Okay. Because to make a single copper ingot, which is as much as we need for any particular tool, we need 20 pieces or 100 units of native copper. Each piece is 5. We have 2. So it's gonna be a bit. It's gonna be a bit. You're starting to see why this is a bit of a grindy game, but it's so fun. Even just things like finding your way blindly out of a cave are still kind of fun. Or maybe I'm just getting the fucking, what do they call it? Stockholm Syndrome. Maybe I'm just getting that. Hard to tell. But we are going to keep looking for that copper. We need the copper. I feel like the first thing on the agenda will be to make a pickaxe, and then it will be to make a saw. Because if we get a pickaxe, then we can just go back to all of these copper deposits that we find, and we can dig underneath and get more copper. Of course, I say all, I mean the one at the moment. I really should have. Between streams, I'm going to turn up the availability copper. And it won't I know it won't have effect on chunks that we've already loaded. But still. It'll have an effect later on. When we can just venture further out and find a bunch of copper. Just laying around. I almost want to go back and try and find that hole I fell in. Just to see. Ooh, fire clay. Having both blue and fire clay nearby are good. Because they both become very useful. So fire clay, we're making it that. Boom. Because we are going to need some clay to make a crucible. And clay forming is actually a lot like the shaping of the heads. Is that who I think it is? Kyle, you son of a bitch, how you been? I haven't talked to you in forever. Hope you're doing good, man. Appreciate the follow as well. That almost slipped my mind. Oh, we got more blue clay here. Did I mark this one? I did mark this one. Okay, good. I stopped myself before I marked it again and made myself look like a fool to the whole internet. And by whole internet, I mean like 5 people. I say that derisively. I'm ecstatic that there would be 5 people in my chat. Because it's whew. It means I'm coming up in the world. Hello, Fox. Not Fox the chatter, but Fox the thing. Yeah, ooh, more copper. Quite a bit more copper. So we're gonna mark this one too. There, that's right, I made it green. I usually make it like an orangey kind of thing, but I'm making it green this time for some reason or another. That one also copper, that one's also copper. So we have 15 bits of copper. Oh, sorry about that. My mouse is freaking out every time I shift around in my chair. Come on, we need 5 more. Oh, that was a bit of a lag spike. 5 more bits. 5 more bits of copper. Sandstone we're going to stay away from because there's not a whole lot in sandstone. I know I said copper spawns everywhere, but not a whole lot spawns in sandstone. Just like in general, not many things spawn in sandstone. I guess it's just like the type of rock it is. I can't even remember. I think it's like a sedimentary rock. Is that right? Is sandstone sedimentary? Had to verify? Yeah. I've got the verification up because like I've had problems in the past. Oh, come on now. I've had problems in the past with like bots and stuff entering my chat and like spamming like harmful links. And I feel like I kind of have a sense of duty to keep that away from people because yeah, I know not to click on them, but not everyone's going to. So like that happens to one person and I'll feel bad. Yeah, like I think my fiance was saying a similar thing. She was like, "Yeah, I had to verify my phone number or like my phone number, email or something like that to watch a stream." And it's like, "Oh, yeah, it's because of this." No, none there either. There's more copper around here somewhere. I know there is. I've got hope now. I got 15 bits. I need 20 bits. Where are you hiding all this copper at? It's somewhere around here. I can smell it on you. Nope, that ain't copper. That's a mushroom. I'm gonna take that mushroom. Is that a good mushroom? That's a good mushroom. Now, some mushrooms, for the uninitiated, some of these mushrooms in the game will actually hurt you, and it will say when eaten, like, so much saturation and then minus so much HP. You're getting married? What? Yeah, I am. Like, not in recent future, but I am engaged. There's been a lot of shit happening in the past couple months. Congrats. Thank you. We're both real happy about that. It was kind of a thing that felt like a long time coming. Yeah, between that and the move, everything's been a little bit crazy recently. Ooh, that's another bit of copper. That's one more. I don't know why I was gonna slash something, but where am I? Oh, I'm right there. I was just blending in with it. Am I blind? Copper. Boop, boop. Good. We got 16 bits now. It's probably a good idea to just look around this area for more bits of copper, too. Because there might just be. Because I think what it is, and if anyone knows otherwise, please feel free to tell me. I feel like what it is that the game sort of chooses where to spawn rocks. And if there's a deposit of, like, a metal, or at least one that can appear on the surface like copper or tin, then it just has, like, a percentage chance of changing those rocks that spawn on top to copper or tin. Like, I feel like that would be a good way to go about it, and that's probably the way they did, but I mean, that may very well just be like a way they used to, and they found a much better way that I am too small-brained to understand. Like, that's entirely possible and likely. They hide in these coppers somewhere around here. Sound like I'm trying to find police. They hide in these motherfucking coppers around here somewhere. I tell you this, they can't hide them forever. Let's see here. Oh, we found more trees. Found a much more dense forest. The forests in here get real crazy. Oh, and we found a ruin. So the ruins are interesting because they can have... What the fuck happened to my voice there? The ruins are interesting because they can have vessels. You can have cracked vessels. And those cracked vessels can include just gubbins. Just random stuff. We're going to leave it for now, just because I don't really want to dig around in there without a shovel. And I don't really feel like making a shovel right now. I feel like finding copper. And getting some dues done. And there's another. You know, I'll give like a cursory surface scan. And if I don't find them, then yeah. Oh, here's one. So this one's for farming, so it's going to give, like, grain or seeds or what have you. Or a fuckload of cattails. That works, too. I don't know what I'm going to do with them now, but I got them. And you know what? When life gives you lemons, you shut up and you be thankful that life gave you something for once, other than misery. I do not have this fire clay soil marked. I was using this one. I'm already forgetting what colors I was using for what. You gotta have it around here somewhere. That can't be like the only copper around for miles. Oh. It's looking a little laggy on stream. Apologies. I think it's just the bit rate going a little weird. So I turned the adaptive bit rate on to try and help out the frame dropping issues. And it seems like what it did was basically make them something different in terms of frame dropping issues. But, you know, at least it's more manageable. Little ewe calves. Are they called calves? Or are they called like something else? Are they just ewe lambs? Ewe calves just sounds correct, and I can't explain why. Some more baddies. Oh my god. My baddies. Oh, that was a weird lag spike. Come on, all these patches of rocks, you gotta have some copper around here somewhere. You stashing it, my guy. Quit bogarting the copper. Oh, I thought that was a flint. Yeah. My God, why you gotta be greedy? Give us some copper. Another fox. What is that? Raccoon? I couldn't tell. More berries. It's gotta be around here somewhere. I am 4 bits away. Come on. Let me get some bits of copper before I gotta do this intermission. I know the only one making me do the intermission is me. Like, I could just not entirely. But I feel like food is a good idea. Certain points. That's a bear. I'm gonna keep away from that. Come on. That's a cool looking cave. I have to. That was good. That was exactly what I wanted out of that exchange. More bighorns. Damn. They gotta have them here somewhere. Holding out. More flint. More stick. Something about this artist is reminding me of gorillas. Am I alone in that? Remind me of Damon Albarn. Yes, we're only doing those. Poggers. We're gonna save all the Pog champs for when we actually find this stupid copper. It's gotta be somewhere around here. Come on now. You can't hold it out forever. You can't keep my kids from me, Karen. Actually, how far am I from home? Okay, I'm not really far. I think I've kind of gone on a circuitous route. Which also means I might be backtracking over myself. Just like wasting time. Ugh. Go straight ahead here. More peat. I'll mark it. Why not? Oh, no. Wait. Is this already marked? No. It's way over there. Oh, no. Well, waste not, want not. And it's got some meat. What are we going to give up for the meat? You know what? Let's give up the knife for the meat. Frankly, the knife is almost dead anyway. More Pete. This is just Pete City. Come on now. Where you got it? Where you stashing it? Let me in on your secrets. Tell me your secrets. Where you hiding it at? Where you got it all? I'd say we're pretty good on food for a little bit. Since we do have food spoilage down to 25%. And, ooh, resin. I don't have any room to collect the resin, unfortunately. I really should have just called this stream The Search for Copper. Because it's really what it's feeling like. It's just me running around fields in a daze looking for copper. Come on. I want to show how you do the things. Let me show you off to the world, Vintage Story, or at least 5 people. Okay, we got quartz bits. Cool, but not helpful. That's pretty good looking. Got a pack of bighorns. Thankfully, in exploration mode, they are chill with you until you attack them. Because in survival mode, they are not. They are territorial, and if you front on them, they will kick your ass. Oh yes, copper. Sweet copper. Give it to me. And I'm marking the spot. Because now we have enough to make an ingot. Hallelujah. Let's go home. After picking up this mushroom. And that mushroom. And that mushroom. Like James Woods in the episode of Family Guy. Ooh, piece candy. Ooh, piece candy. Ooh, piece candy. Ooh, piece candy. Lead. That might be useful. Keep that in mind. For lead, we're going to use like a purpley color. Lead's gonna kind of purpley color to it most times I see it. It's like a cool gray. So what direction is home? Roundabouts. A butterfly. Oh, lovely. ADD brain strikes again. It's fine. So we are going to go to home. We are going to probably make another couple hand baskets, because one thing we can also do with the hand baskets is we can place them on the ground as storage containers. So it'll be very useful until we have a saw for wood where we can make chests and trunks. So yeah, I even found a use for the boatload of fucking cattails it gave me. We're gonna use it to store things. Yes. So we gotta store things, and then we've got to make a couple things out of clay. And then we can get some copper smelted. And really get going. Thankfully, unlike yesterday's stream, most of the grindy bits we can get out today. Isn't that lovely? Means next time it's more about the fun bits. Okay, let us do this. Boom. And we're gonna just see if we can... Nope. Sure, okay. And we're just gonna pop that there. And pop that there. Okay, okay, I see how it's gonna go. So what we want to do is we want to do that. Okay. So we can't interact with them directly. Hey, Minnie, welcome to stream. We can't interact with them directly. However, what we can do is we can fill them with things and we can set them down on the ground. So that is exactly what we are going to do. This red meat, I feel like we want to cook first before we start, like, leaving it places. I mean, I guess it's just fine to have on us for now. Anyway. We are going to go ahead, and I hate to do this to you just as you arrive in the stream, Minnie, but we're going to go ahead and take intermission so I can go ahead and get some food, and we are going to be back at 8:30. And we're going to get the clay, we're going to smelt the metal, and we're going to do all the good shit, okay? So, I will see you all in about half an hour. are coming back into it now. Sorry to go a few minutes over. Had a bit of an issue getting the food there, but all worked out. And if you wonder why I'm reloading, it's because Vintage Story is one of those games where when you pause, it only kind of pauses. So I just like to be careful and to just like give it that time, you know? Just be like, okay, set it aside for a little bit. Anyway, now we are going to do phase 2 of the operation, which involves a shovel. Welcome back. Thanks, Minnie. So phase 2 involves a shovel, because what we are going to do is we are going to go get some clay. If we look at the map, we have marked some nearby clay. I don't recall. I think we can just use any kind of clay. So it doesn't particularly matter if it's fire clay or blue clay. But it looks like just from where we are, the blue clay is closer. So we're going to go to that. So just as another like point of reference between this and Minecraft. In Minecraft, if you were to say get copper, even though you can't make copper tools, but if you were to get copper and want to use it, you go find copper underground, you mine it, you smelt it in a furnace, and get ingots. And all is well. And then you can just use those ingots directly with a crafting table, and you can make whatever you want. And that doesn't work in Vintage Story. In Vintage Story, you need the correct amount of whatever metal you are smelting. And for copper in specific, it is that you need 20 bits, you need 100 units of copper, you need 100 total units for an ingot of any metal. But for copper, you need 100 units, and you get those 100 units, and then you need a crucible made of clay. Which means you need to get that clay, you need to fire that clay. So you need to basically bake it in a kiln, which is basically putting it underground and setting a fire light on top of it. And then you just wait for it to bake. Then once it's done baking, you put it in a fire pit with the appropriate amount of copper, and you also need a fuel that will burn hot enough to melt that copper. And usually that means you need charcoal. You can do it with coke or coal, but charcoal is the easiest to get. However, even charcoal, you need to take a bunch of firewood, bury it underground, set a fire on top of it, and encase the entire thing. So it basically smokes the wood and turns it into charcoal. Yes, it is a little more involved. And that's part of why I like it, is that everything, yes, it is more involved, but it makes you feel like you've accomplished something. Even when you do something so small as make a tool, you feel accomplished. You feel like I have overcome some insurmountable thing. I mean, you all saw like how long it took me just to get enough copper to smelt, let alone the process of smelting it. And even then, even when you get the charcoal and you smelt it down in the crucible, you're still not done, because you need a cast made out of clay, and that's something else you have to fire. And then you can pour it into that cast, but only certain tool heads can be cast. Others you have to forge, which means you need a forge and a hammer with which to smith it. And forging is the only way you can get iron and steel tool heads. because they can't be cast. A puny little clay cast cannot take the iron. Alright, so let's call that enough clay right there. Because I basically like to collect a bunch of clay and just make all the useful things with clay. Just all at once. And then I'll just pop them all in a kiln. Because for the kiln, you need... Oh, well, there's some more clay right there. And that's still blue clay. So I guess we could have gone there, but it's fine. But for a kiln, you need to put the thing down in just like a 1 deep hole. And pop, I believe it's 5 dry grass or 10 dry grass, one of the two, in above it. Then put firewood on top and set it on fire. You can also, in place of firewood, use peat, which is a very useful thing to use peat for. My thing about giving this game a look, it is a pretty interesting game. Like, if you're cool with the art style and everything, then it is definitely worth a look. It's not on Steam or anything. They just sell it from their own website. And I think it's like 19 euros or something like that. Which equates to like something around $20. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to do the raw crucible. And you can see that it's much the same as the napping. But you've got different tools to choose from. You can do a 1x1, a 2x2, 3x3, or duplicate layer. So we're going to start with the 2x2. Oh, not that. We're going to actually go in here like this. And you can see the yellow ones need to be taken away and the green ones need to be placed. So you just do that for this entire layer. And then it does another layer. We'll go 1x1. And one of the mods I had actually helped expedite this process, or at least make it a little easier, if not expedite it. But that's okay. I'm also giving you the sort of unfettered look at what all goes into this stuff, because even making a crucible takes some time and effort. Can I move these, actually? No, I can't. Okay, that's fine. It's kind of right on top of where the stream chat goes. And when you got something like this, where it's the same thing that it was before, well, you can just go duplicate later and hold right click. Looks like I'd likely have a harder time with it compared to Minecraft, but it still looks like it's worth a shot. Yeah, probably a little bit harder time, but also I haven't looked too heavily into the texture pack scene of this game yet. Just because I kind of like the aesthetic it's got going on already. And I don't really have any gripes about it. Whereas Minecraft, I mainly just use Faithful. Because it just gives a higher resolution. But I don't really know what all is in the Vintage Story scene for that sort of stuff. So it might be worth taking a look there too. So we're going to pop these, just shift right click them onto the bottom there. And actually, we're going to do a little bit of land clearing as well. That's going to be a bit of a problem because we can't get rid of this rock until we have a pickaxe. At least for now, it gives us a little bit of more of a level area to work with. Just toss those out. Let's get a little dry grass. Let's see if the 5 works or if I need 10. So we go over to it, we hold shift, and we right click. Okay, so it needs 10 because it took 2 from me. So we'll build up to 8. It'd be 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, and now it needs 4 sticks. So if we do sticks, well, it needs 8 sticks rather, and then it does the firewood. And we're just gonna do firewood this time because I don't want to go back out and get the peat. We'll do 1, 2, 3, 4 firewood. And then we just light it on fire. We can also use a torch for this, but since I've got the fire starter, I might as well use it. Because you can't use the torch when it's in your offhand for some reason. Oh, it looks like it's burning the dry grass around it. But it's okay because it's not going to spread very far. Or maybe it will. Maybe we'll just cut it off at the pass here. Before it starts like a wildfire, like a brush fire. There we go. Ow. You saw that. Just hit me. There we go. And then we'll just let that bake. And meantime, we will dig another hole. We'll dig a couple more holes. And we will get more things to bake. So one thing we're gonna need, we will need the raw pickaxe mold. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll probably look into some videos or something to get a better feel for it. That's what I did, honestly, because I got sold because I was really into the create mod at the time. And there's some elements of this that's very much like the create mod, where it's got like sort of windmill power and all that sort of stuff, like the mechanical power aspect of it. Because there is like advanced power systems, and there's so much more than what I'm showing right now. It goes so much more in depth. Like, you got stuff of like mechanical power and all these things. And it gets crazy. But yeah, there's a little bit of something in here for everyone, to the point where most people on servers or like playing multiplayer will usually delegate themselves to a single role. And that'll just be like what they do for the time that they're playing. Like, I know Doodle and Runely specifically do that, where like Rune will be a miner and things like that, and Doodle, I think she's like the builder. I don't like that I have to basically vet a game to make sure it's worth paying for. I want to drop cash on a game that I can't really play at the end of the day. I mean, yeah, I totally get that. If it makes you feel any better, I think that Vintage Story has a very generous refund policy, where they're like, if you don't like our game for any reason, then tell us and we will refund it. We want you to have a good experience playing the game. And if you don't, then we don't want you to suffer for that. So I think it's that the devs are also just really decent people. It really makes game nights with friends a massive pain in the butt. I get that. But, I mean, at the very least, it makes it better when the devs aren't assholes about giving you your money back. And these guys definitely aren't. And the factor that it's just... Yeah, they're very much on the side of, if you don't like the game enough for what you pay for it, then we don't want to keep your money. Because we want you to enjoy. And frankly, we need more game devs with that kind of moral fiber. And yeah, I know that's kind of a bandage on the wound, but also, you know, it's also any port in the storm. We'll take what we can get, in most cases. Also, because Tori reminded me of it, happy Pi Day, everyone. It was 3/14. Happy Pi Day. Make sure you go grab yourself a slice. I know she's out or not out, but she's ordering some pie to be sent to us today. That's good, at least, yeah. I mean, like I said, it's still not ideal, but at the same time, if it's what we can get, then it's better than nothing. But yes, happy Pie Day, everyone. I hope you have some delicious pie. Whatever kind of pie you want to have. I don't know what kind of pie Tori's going to get, but I'm going to have some. If any of you are out there eating pie, feel free to share what kind of pie. Might give us some ideas. Can't wait for the day when my site won't matter and I can just join in with anything. I mean, that sure would be nice. Ooh, pie, yeah. It is indeed the pie day. Like I said, I didn't even remember myself until Tori told me. The whole move deal has gotten my sense of time all whacked. Like, if not for the streaming schedule, I couldn't tell you what day it is today. Oh, ran out of clay. That's another thing, is that it does take a certain amount of clay each time you place, because you can look where it says clay form, it says available voxels 25. So that means I basically have 25 squares to place. See, now it's 26. I have 26 squares to place before it consumes the clay that's in my hand. And then I'll keep going through that until it's gone through all that I have in my hand. Then I gotta get more. Feel like, yeah, time is hard. Time is hard. I was never good with time. I'm good with time management, but the process of tracking time, it is weird to me. Like, something about it just doesn't compute my brain for whatever reason. Okay, so we're gonna get these clay things forming here. Or not forming, but cooking. Baking? Baking. We're gonna get them baking. Baker in real life and baker in game. Yeah. Because these are going to take a hot minute. No pun intended, I apologize. On behalf of the Academy, I apologize. Eat some food. Because this game will kill you from hunger. And the storage vessel is going to be a little interesting. They're all going to be a little interesting because I have very few sticks. Okay, we're going to sleep. Because I'm not going to go wandering about in the dark again. See, he just slowly goes down. And I believe it's that time actually, like, passes in a meaningful way when you sleep. It's not like, you know, if you plant seeds, they're only going to grow so long as you're staring at them, sort of thing. That's another thing that happens. It's real cool. Like, if you throw an item, it won't go very far. But if you throw it while running, it'll shoot out of you. Which is fun. Okay, what was I gonna do? I'm gonna get some sticks. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get sticks. Oh, you got sticks around here? Don't be hiding no sticks now. We got enough flint for right now. We got 30. Feels like a good amount of flint to have. We need some more sticks. I'm just gonna have to go up to the forest. I think I might. And that's another thing about the spoilage of food. So you can see these that we've had in our inventory for a while, fresh for 7.1 days. These we just got, fresh for 8. Combine them together, 7.3. So the fresh stuff takes a bit of a hit, but it can also help revitalize the food that you got with you. So it's less like storing food with food that's going bad will make it go bad faster, and more like storing food with food that is going bad will actually reverse the effect a little. I don't actually know what happens when your food rots, because I haven't had it come to that point yet. I've usually eaten pretty much all my food until like before it went bad. Realized today that I have 0 sense of time. I was cooking earlier and I couldn't use my phone as a timer like usual, and like apparently I don't know, I have no independent sense of time anymore. Cooking is a little weird for me right now in general, because in the new house we've got a gas oven, which is, it is and it isn't new for me, because when I was a kid we had a gas oven, but obviously I was 11 years old. I wasn't old enough to really use it, so I didn't have to. I didn't realize the intricacies that went into using a gas stove until just the other day when I was trying to make some pasta and trying to get it to simmer. And if you've never set a gas stove to simmer, holy shit. Because the marks on an electric stove, you know what they're going to give you. Like, you got the 1 through 10, you know exactly what you need. Gas stove markings are fucking... They're a joke. They're a joke. They are they're an approximation. They're a suggestion. I have to stare at the fire of the stove as I slowly turn the dial back to see how low I can get the flame before it turns off. And then I have to light it again and try and get it to that point, because I will inevitably turn it off when trying to find the lowest point. And it is irritating, and it is weird. It's like a strange little mini game I have to go through just to cook food. I don't have words for it. And like people with gas stoves right now, I'm sure are like, yeah, that's just how it is. It's like, no, it's not. We live in 2023. This is an age of technology. It's never just how it is to eyeball it anymore. Gas stoves are a safety hazard for me. Yeah, they're a safety hazard for most people, frankly. I'm surprised it's not a safety hazard for me. Like, it's just weird. And the fact that I have to have the stove on not the stove, but I have to have the fan on all the time. Otherwise, the house is filled with the smell of gas. It's strange having a gas oven. Hello, baby. No. It's okay. Will you be safe getting pie? Everyone wish Tori a good trip. She's gonna have to get the pies herself because no one else can be arsed to do it.
Downside of living in Deliverance territory.
Be safe, baby.
I will.
Back to the stick hunt. Some rye growing here. Interesting. Safe travels for Pi. I hope so. She doesn't have to go far, thankfully. And I mean, if any of the immediate household is familiar with the area, it's her. Because she had to drive here for work for like, God, how long? For 9 months. Gotta head out for now. D&D's about to start. Well, I hope you have fun. Thanks for stopping by on the stream. Go kick some ass, do some big numbers. And make sure you have some pie. Pie Day is a serious endeavor, people. It is a time-honored tradition. How many sticks do we have? We got 12 sticks. I think it takes 8 per. So we need 16. And we're going to need more besides that because we need tool handles and such. I mainly want to check around the trees because they're going to drop sticks and such just by like shedding them basically. Thankfully all the cranberries are very populous around here. So many cranberries. Now see what there is to see. Doesn't really go anywhere. This is more of the like weird early game stuff where it's like, yeah, you gotta find a bunch of sticks. I can actually break these with axe and be a little bit quicker about it. I mean, axe loses durability, but it's a flint axe, so it's not like I really care. Just clean up the bushes. Oh, and I got a birch seed, apparently. How many we got now? 24. Get a few more. Just to be safe. Because... oh no, that's right. We've got 3 that need to be started, so... we actually need 24 just for the pit kilns. Okay, so that should be fine. Let's go back. Get those other pit kilns alight. Because we will need, at the very least, the pickaxe mold and the crucible to make a copper pick. And that copper pick will... ooh, more copper here. Nice. I will take it. Especially since it's just a somewhat close deposit of copper. And we are up to 41, so we can actually get 2 ingots of copper now. Which reminds me, one of the things that we should create is an ingot mold, or rather 2 ingot molds. Oh. Well, That was a bit of a fall. Okay. And we're back on it. I had to look at it because it was like a different color of dirt. So the main way that you can tell the different fertilities of dirt apart is by the color of the dirt itself. It's like this grayish is the low fertility, and like the more rich brown you have in your dirt, the more fertile the soil is. And as I said before, the more fertile the soil, the better crop yield and actually speed that your crops will grow on that soil. But with all the foraging, we're not really farming anything just yet. But we will at some point. Figure out how to get terra preta and all that such. We'll start us a good little farm. Start making bread and all that. It's funny, because it's Pie Day, Tori brought up the idea of like, ooh, can you make pies in Vintage Story? And you can. You very much can. But it is a very late game sort of thing. Because pies, I think by and large, are used in the game as a way of preserving berries and fruits over the winter months. So like you make it into a pie, and then you can like put the pie on a shelf in your cellar, and then it can just like sit there for the whole winter and just chill. It's like, yeah, that's not a thing I can do right now, unfortunately. We're gonna plant these beech birch trees like here. Oh. We're gonna get our sticks. Boom, 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 boom. And do we have nearby peat? That's peat, or no, that's fire clay. It's a problem with making it brown. So it's a little difficult to find. I know we found something in the way of peat here. It's copper, blue clay, fire clay, copper, copper. We went a ways out, didn't we? Hoof. Fire clay. We found some peat. There's some peat. That dark brown is hard to see. Unfortunately, I don't think there's a way to like search my waypoints, is there? I don't know. It's fine. So for now, we're just gonna chop down a couple of trees. We're gonna chop this birch log, because it looks to just be a log. Yeah. Chop down this birch tree. We're just gonna use the firewood, which we'll actually need to collect firewood to start making charcoal, because peat will not get hot enough. I believe for the copper in this game, it needs to be like 1100 degrees Celsius or something like that, and I believe the charcoal gets to like 1300. And I think even like lignite coal still only just about makes it to the 1100 mark. So even if you found that from like cracked vessels or what have you, Now we got a good bit. And you can see that the birch doesn't stack in 64. It stacks in 16. And that's just because each item sort of has like a weight to it. And the stack size of an item is dependent on its weight. So when you got something very heavy, it will only stack so much. But something lighter will stack more, and even lighter than that will stack more, and etc., etc. Okay, so let us chop this firewood. Okay, let's make another axe then. Let's use that. Pop those. Let's do like half of them. Actually, let's do all of them. Just because we're going to need all of them anyway. Okay, so. And it looks like our crucibles are done. It takes roundabouts a day. And you'll see that the top of this one isn't completely covered. And that's because this is a special case. The large vessels need 2 rows on top. Just because it is so large. And then we can light this. Light this. You can do it. You can do it. I believe in you. You got this. You got it. I believe. There we go. Took the power of belief. That's all. Break these around so we don't start a brush fire. And light this one. Come on. Come on, puppy. You can do it. I believe. Come on. Yeah. 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 Okay, there we go. And we will start. We're probably going to go right here. Let's just dig a little bit of an area. Dig like 3 by 5. So a charcoal pit can be anywhere from 1 by 1 to 7 by 7 by 7. So I like to do just the one level because I'm familiar with it. I don't even know if it can be done more, but you can go like 7 long, 7 wide, all that good stuff. So we're just going to do this because it's going to give us a lot for a little. Because yes, you could do each of these in its own individual one, but that would require much more in terms of just resources that you need to do, because you need a fire pit for every single one. Whereas if you put it all in one, you only need the one. We're going to go to sleep again. Because the darkness is bullshit right now. That's bullshit. Oh my god. 2 days left before monsters begin to appear. That's going to be a problem. because monsters appearing means the incoming drifters. And there are simple fortifications against them, but we'll want something. At some point, we will want a proper dwelling within which to hide. It's not in the cards for right now, of course, but, you know, it may not even be in the cards for the first temporal storm, if the temporal storms are turned on. I don't know if they actually are. I think they are, because most of it was default on the settings, and I think it's on by default. Alright, so we got us a little bit more. And we got some... How do we have copper right here and I missed it? Oh my god. Well, that's huge. Got copper right next to our home. That's gonna be huge. Well, it's got a little ruin right here. And we got a vessel farming. This bony soil is going to be interesting too. It's got a basket. Right, okay. We got turnip seeds, it's fine. We just got pine logs. Okay, so let's chop these into firewood. Huh? What? What? That was weird. Also, where'd my other stack of firewood go? That was just weird. Okay. That aside, I want to get here. What we're probably gonna do, I'm gonna trim this down to 3x3 because I want to get this going this episode. I get this going this stream. Got about 40 minutes left to stream. So we are going to get this charcoal going. Because A, I want to get this charcoal going, and B, I want to be able to smelt the copper in this stream. And unfortunately, the charcoal is one of the things that's going to take quite a while. Oh, wait, what? Was it like hiding in my inventory invisible? That's weird. Okay, well, we found some of our firewood. Woohoo. Oh, you can rotate the firewood now. Oh, thank God. It used to be that it would just place one way, just universally. So I'm so glad they changed that. There's frankly more trees this way than there is that way. Let's go ahead and go to there and get some tree. Let's get some tree. I'm just like subconsciously trying to pick out certain ones to just like call from the herd. I'm not trying to like level the entire forest. Yes, that does mean I'm kind of picking on the birch ones. But come tomorrow's stream, you'll see that it's not just because it's birch. Or maybe you'll doubly think so, I don't know. Because once you see my base on Jennycraft, it is 90% copper and birch. Alright. We're gonna have to find somewhere to plant this too. Oh, let's just plant it over here. Up. Alrighty. And looks like we're still gonna need a couple more before we fill this thing up. Yeah, still gonna need a couple more. And we're gonna need another axe. So let me make one of those real quick. And there we go. It's ready to go when the old one fails. Let's take this one. This big old one that's presiding over everything. And you can probably tell that it takes a little bit longer to fell a large tree as opposed to a small one. It's like the little details like that I really appreciate, and just like the devs have thought of these things. That they're trying to go for that realism. Just enhances the experience. Okay. And how many does that give us? Should give us like 2 and a bit. Yeah, 2 and a bit. I think that should be just enough, actually. From that one tree. The tree gave its life for the cause. F. F for respect. I feel like they also changed the texture for the firewood as well. Shit, also I said it was just enough. It's not. I need 4 for the actual fire pit. You're telling me, I was about to say, you're telling me there's no wood in this entire tree? That is just leaf? Okay, it looks like it's 2 trees? I don't know. It's just one really weirdly built tree. Only one? Really? only one. Weird ass tree. I mean, it's gonna give us enough, but still. And we need a dry grass. And, oh, actually, we need some of the dirt that we tossed away. Didn't we toss it off this way? Oh, we tossed it over there. No? I think it just despawned. Oh well. We'll dig some from somewhere else. Let's just carve this back a little bit. So we want to cover this. Yeah, 3 more. Gonna bop. Bop, 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 bop. One there, one there. Gonna light this. And a block over top. This needs to be fully enclosed. So that is going now. And these are going, and we're just basically playing the waiting game at this point. I guess we can cook this meat in the meantime. Don't really have anything else, so I'll just use the sticks. Cook it. Come on, it's basically kindling. There we go. Just wait for that to cook. You'll see once it reaches the temperature, which is 150 Celsius, it'll start creeping up the green bar and cook. Take a drink here. Hey, baby. Tori has returned from pie. She's returned with a lovely pie. Chocolate pie. Looks lovely, baby.
I didn't have any.
That's okay, I like it. I will be out after stream. No? Yes, thank you, baby. Alright, now we have our cooked meat. Can we place our bushes? We did place our bushes over here. Oh, I like how it's trailing off the smoke into the sky. That's really cool. So you can see like the strong wind blowing this way. And I like how it pushes the smoke particles. Looks like we still got those going. We'll go ahead and move these for the moment. Just move them over near the campfire. Toss this overboard. Just like I'm just sort of getting a lay of the land around here. Explore around, see what there is to see. It's a very interesting formation they got going there. That goes pretty deep. We do have very interesting stuff going on around this spot. So we got some more normal generation that way, and then we got all the weird fucked up stuff that way. Yeah, I think aside from waiting around, there's kind of kind of not much else to be done at this point other than maybe planning. So let's think about where... Sorry, mouse is going crazy again. That's my fault. Let's think about where in this area we can put a house. Just giving a cursory look around. Yeah, house would probably go good in this, like, right in here. Around this little dip here. But I might have to leave it for next time. So, I can do this too. Well, I can do kind of this. So, thank you everyone for watching. For those of you that are not in the know on the Twitch, I actually post my VODs to YouTube every so often. So, I believe as of the start of this stream, yesterday's VOD has gone up, and as of the start of tomorrow's stream, this VOD will be going up on YouTube. So hey, everyone on YouTube, come check out the Twitch. The link is in the description for it, and you can see all this live. Thank you to Minnie and Kyle for being in the chat, and Mustard for being in the chat. If you appreciate the things I do, why don't you go ahead and drop a follow to the channel? Or if you're on the YouTube, drop a subscription. And hey, if you're here on the Twitch and you feel like you want to appreciate me a little bit more, I've got a tip jar down there in the panels. I'll only say this once in a while. You don't need to, but it really does help me out. And tomorrow we are going to be doing some Junicraft SMP. So hopefully we'll be seeing some of the people from Junicraft on there while we are playing tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, if you don't know when we're going to be going live, you can go ahead and check out at KXDJFoo on Twitter. That is where I'll post everything about when we're streaming, what we're streaming, where we're streaming, why we're streaming. All that stuff is going to be on the Twitter, because I don't have a Discord server for people yet. It's just, 5 people. I feel like it doesn't really merit it. But thank you all for watching, and I will see all of you in the next one.